Well, it was a lovely start to the day this morning. I was brought freshly ground coffee with that special ingredient, rum, to celebrate the beginning of the day, because today's my day off. It's a day of doing very little other than just enjoying myself and having Jamie wait on me hand and foot for 24 hours. So I'm going to really make the most of it. And the reason for all this is that it's my birthday today and I get a day off for my birthday. So May the 4th be with you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Elizabeth. Happy birthday to you.
We're taking a day off. We've got a car. We're going to go for a little cruise. We're going to start with a coffee and a pastry though, aren't we?
Yes, it's my birthday cake time, isn't it?
Indeed.
Yeah. Start with that and then go around the island. I don't think we're going to find anything new, but we're going to go to some of my favourite spots.
Yeah.
It's real tea. It's probably tea leaves in the tea. So this is birthday brunch. And we've got kind of charcoal thing. Nice, very tasty. But most importantly, my birthday cake. Chocolate is my favourite thing.
Well, that was a nice little interlude, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great. It was a lovely day and full of surprises, and the best thing about the whole day was the fact that I didn't have to do any maintenance at all. And neither did you, actually.
Yes. Well, unfortunately we have more bad news. And this is quite a serious one. This is possibly going to impact on our immediate plans. And I'm not talking even about the batteries. I am talking about an email we received from a new sailing buddy called Kevin Whitegan. And Kevin has been based around this area for the last 10 years. And he goes surfing down the west coast of Sumatra and has been doing this for many years. And he's made that journey many times. He's based up in Phuket. He came down to see us, introduced himself when we were based here, and we had a little chat with him. And he's sent an email update. Just a heads up. I tried to sail to Sumatra yesterday against my better judgment as the weather window had fractured on Friday. We had storms in Phuket from the south. I ended up turning back to Phuket after travelling 50 miles. I was hit by a huge 30-knot southwest squall, and after 2 hours the seas were so short and steep. I know from my past experience that I would have been miserable for the 180 miles I had left, and there are more storms predicted. This is the first time turning around in 10 years in more than 30 crossings of the Malacca Straits. Most months I have made crossings without a problem, but 2017 is a weird year for weather.
It is a weird year. It started weird, didn't it? Because in January should have been perfect weather, but we had a lot of bad weather in January too, I seem to remember. Yeah,
it's all a bit funny at the moment. He says, I don't know when I will try again because things look similar for the foreseeable future. He said the weather is never correct, as you well know, and while it says 16 knots west-northwest, it really ends up being 30 knots southwest, and we know all about that. Yesterday was predicted for light rain and light wind from the northwest. All I saw was southwesterlies. It is never forecasted above 8 knots with no rain. It is something to do with the coronal effect of the mountains and the volcanoes in the area. This weather hits hard and fast and lasts 12 hours.
So he didn't make it.
He didn't make it. He's still in Phuket.
Yeah. That's really worrying, and well, then there's lots of things going through my head when you read that to me. Firstly, had we left when we were supposed to leave, when we decided to leave in April, we would have been fine.
Yes.
But of course we've had the issues with the windlass and the batteries, and that's delayed us, and we do know that going into May the transitional can be very nasty. But it's always been the transitional, it's not normally set in this early. It seems to have set in. Do you think it's set in?
Well, I checked the forecasts, and that southwesterly looks like it's in good and proper from next week. And especially the wind as it whips around that cape at the top by Sabang at the top of Sumatra, it's pretty ferocious, and it would be on the nose for us. I think the important thing to remember is that even if you had a weather window, if the winds died for 1 or 2 days, which is enough to get across, what you have to remember is the sea state. It's all about that sea state and the fact that you have a few thousand miles of those southwesterlies blowing across the Indian Ocean, which creates some pretty lumpy water. I think at this point it's worth mentioning that whilst we have sailed in heavy weather, when you get hit by heavy weather, you deal with it. If you're out there, you just get on with it. But I think most cruisers will agree that you don't go out and put yourself in that situation if you know that that is what the situation is going to be.
So here we are trying to decide what to do. You had a plan B about a month ago, didn't you? So we may have to move plan B up to plan A.
Yes, plan B involves going down the Malacca Straits from here
North
straight
to
south. Although at the moment there are southerlies coming up
Yeah.
the Malacca
The
Straits.
difference is that you won't get such lumpy waves.
No,
So you can deal with it, and you just have to motor into it and just do it day after day.
you can. I'm not going to do that. I mean, we can do, but the thing is, what we're talking about here is to get beyond Singapore
Yeah.
and start exploring maybe the east side of Malaysia.
Well, that'll be the point. It will be to try and get down the Malacca Strait as soon as possible.
Exactly, but to get down there, again, you've still got to look at your weather windows. Okay, it's not the same as going head on into 30 knots of lumpy, Indian Ocean. But
And we can duck into places and to places we haven't been before. So my vote at the moment is to head south through the Malacca Straits, come what may, just get through it. It's never great. To use some of those places to duck in along the way, to get round Singapore, and then you've got the Gulf of Thailand, which is all shielded from the southwest as long as you stay on that western side.
Yeah.
We've got those Anambas Islands, which are part of Indonesia, which would be great to see, and Tioman and all those places.
Yep.
So.
I think the other thing that's maybe worth discussing very quickly is how frequent these situations happen. Now, you've seen from our vlogs for the last few weeks, we've just been playing the waiting game, waiting for things to turn up. Things turn up, they're not right, so you have to wait a little bit longer, and then when you think you're ready, you then have to wait for weather windows. And so we've ended up waiting now for at least a month, and it's going to be longer.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things, isn't it? That's what part of what cruising is about. I mean, there's a number of people based in Talaga at the moment who are waiting for things to be delivered, waiting for mail, parts coming over from America, from Europe.
Yeah.
It's all about waiting, and you can't force these situations. You have to take it on the chin and accept that is part of this cruising life.
And there's no point in getting upset or angry or depressed about it. It's just the way it is, and it is. After 10 years or more on this boat, we've learned patience. Do you think a little bit?
I think so. Yeah. Maybe not with each other, but certainly with situations like this. Patience, I think, is a big lesson that you learn.
And there's always something to do with your time. It's not as if you're sitting around doing that. There's more things to do than we ever, Anyway.
Yes.
So that's it. That's watch this space. We'll let you know. If we were going along the west coast of Sumatra for 2, possibly 3, 4, 5 months, who knows, we didn't know what we were going to find there. We wanted to make sure we had plenty of the basics on the boat. And so I went through, checked what we had throughout really crappy old stuff, made some room. And one of the things we need to do with stowing is try to put everything low. low in the boat, in the centre and low. You said that we've got too much weight at the front.
There's too much weight at the front, way
Yeah.
too much weight at the front.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. It's all about keeping the weight down as low as possible rather than stacked up in cupboards like this. Better to, if you can, put it low. The obvious place, therefore, is the bilges. We've made a whole load of space in the kitchen bilge.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you've been doing, of course, is labelling them. So writing in permanent marker.
This is the cans, because what happens is that the labels come off because the bilges can get wet, you can get condensation. The labels fall off the cans and you don't know what's in each can.
But of course the more canny stower will have taken the labels off before putting them into the bilges. But actually, as it happens, that bilge is really dry. It never gets wet.
Yeah.
So we're lucky we've got a few very dry bilges. Yeah. So that's that.
So I've stacked that and filled it with cans and glass, anything that's really heavy.
Yeah. And finally, on to batteries. I know you're all waiting to know what's going on with that situation.
So
Just a very quick recap for new viewers. We've had battery issues. We've had a lot of people telling us which batteries to go for, which has been great, but we have to emphasise that we were A, under a time constraint, and B, budget.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of options we simply could not pursue because we have a very limited budget, especially without all the gear we've have to keep buying. So we have gone back down the 6-volt route.
We have.
And we are going to go for Trojans. So the T105s were the obvious choice because they're exactly the same size, literally to the millimetre.
Yeah. So it would be straight apples for apples, easy peasy, just a straight swap. Yep. And that's what we were going to do. Until
we discovered that they also have in stock the T145s.
Yeah.
And these are 250 amp
Definitely
hours.
bigger.
250, 260 amp hours.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah, or even 265. Can't remember. Anyway, they are considerably bigger than the other ones. But they're not bigger width, length. They're only taller. And as you know, we have a very weird battery compartment, which is why we could only go for certain types of batteries. And this one, if I've got my measurements right,
I hope you have,
should fit in nicely. So
we've ordered them.
Yep.
We've ordered them direct from Trojan in KL.
Yep.
And they really should be coming today.
We are literally waiting for a phone call for their delivery. So we're hoping that this time next week when we catch up with you guys.
I'm hoping 3 things. Firstly, that they arrive. Secondly, that they fit. And the thing I'm really looking forward to is all the extra power we're going to have.
This could be the phone call we've been waiting for. Hello?